Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, again, I'm glad to see that we're back at it. What we have in Mr. Chairman using wonderfully interesting words to describe our members' amendments when I have lived through more amendments of his nonsense in the last 7.5 years than I care to be a part of, but that's okay. We continue this process here. You know, look, it's sort of the obvious reasons of this. The reason you obviously don't want this is because you're obviously being not genuine in the fact that this is about no other president. This is about every other president. It's about everybody that we want to talk to. This is not right. This is about Donald Trump. Just go ahead and relieve yourself. Admit it. Just admit it. You'll feel so much better in the morning. To say this is about Donald Trump. We want to make sure that we can get him. We failed in impeachment. We failed in the Mueller. We failed in life. And we're going to fail in November, but we'll try and get him then. Just help yourself out. Give yourself a little bit of encouragement and say, I have this bills and these bills today because we had nothing better to do on a Thursday in Washington, D.C. than to try and actually attack the president again. Just admit it, Mr. Chairman. Just admit it. I understand you want to and you can't because you say it's law and order and this is fair. But I agree with you. I agree with Mr. Buck. It should be applied. It should have been applied when, statute of limitations and the bill we're going to take up later, the pardons, when Bill Clinton pardoned his own brother. Should have been probably in there when Bill Clinton pardoned his own CIA director and HUD secretary. What is the problem here today is just the utter, just frank hypocrisy of just saying who is for. Just say it, because this is what it is. Just get on with the votes. As I've tried to remind the chairman, when I was ranking member, you have the votes. You win these. It's the way the committee system's set up. But don't continue this and call Mr. Buck the obvious reason is just nonsense. No, the obvious nonsense here is not admitting why we're here. The obvious nonsense here is attacking the president over and over and over again, because if you truly wanted to say, no, this is not about Donald Trump, I agree with that, we don't even have the appearance of impropriety, which is not true, then we'd accept Mr. Buck's amendment. But you don't accept his amendment because this is about President Trump, because you've miserably failed for the last 19 months in everything that you've tried to attack him with. Now, you can go on and say in history and all what you want to say, no, we did. No, you didn't. History will judge the 116th Congress, especially this committee, in amazing ways. And we're going to talk at each other here for the rest of the time, but I just, I have years of counseling and counseling with people in the military and in the pastorate and everything else. I'm trying to help you here. Relieve yourself. You know you want to. Just admit it. It's about him. It's about him. I yield to Mr. Buck.
Mr. Collins, I just want to make one thing clear. When you had years of counseling, you were the counselor, not the counselee.
Exactly.
Okay.
But after this committee, after the last 19 months, who knows what's next? Because of having to deal with these arguments over and over again when the American people are sitting here wondering about what we can actually do bipartisanly about prescription drugs, which it did not still pass my notice yesterday when we put the bill on the floor and abolished a bipartisan bill that Mr. Cicilline and I have worked on prescription drugs, and we put it in as a pay-for because we put the old bill in there because we had to find something to pay for a bill that'll never go anywhere. You want to talk about actually what we do in this committee? We don't talk about people. We don't talk about bipartisan things that could actually get done. We do this. So that, as I said yesterday on the floor, lose the moral high ground on prescription drugs and helping our pharmaceuticals and everything, because yesterday you blew it. You blew it when you put in the pay-for that has no hope, number one, of actually fixing anything, actually making it worse for people, but you did it and wasted it on a bill that you could have found any other pay-for. It's disturbing to me that the gentleman from Rhode Island actually worked on getting a compromise here, and we threw it away. So as we talk about this today, and we'll have a lot more. The other side will say, we're terrible, we're wrong, you're just trying to protect the president. No, the president doesn't need any protection. The truth, as I said during impeachment, is the easiest thing to go about. And we did. We won. He won because he did nothing wrong except have to endure the majority's wrath since really 2016, before he ever got elected, and especially since they became the majority last year. But as I go forward in this, you can disagree with me. You'll talk about it. We'll talk about it from here on out. But I just couldn't stand it any longer, just trying to give you some help. Go ahead and admit these bills are about President Trump. We would have never been doing this under President Obama or President Clinton or anybody else. Just go ahead and admit it. Make yourself feel better. You'll sleep good, and you can go home to everybody and say, I did it. I admitted it. It was about him. With that, I yield back.